to be with you today. And obviously, I thoroughly enjoyed watching you and your band Lipstick on Your Collar last year here at Number 8. And you're back by popular demand.
We are.
There we go. So let's go back to the beginning. How long have you been singing and performing music?
So basically, I can't remember not singing. I think I was about 5. You know, like my earliest memories are singing. So yeah, my parents were massively into the 50s, 60s, you know, hence why I look like this. I look the part, yeah. I've been brought up on it. But no, I think I've just always loved music. You know, my parents were always playing music in the car, and I kind of grew up on it, and I just absolutely loved it. And then as soon as I kind of really get into things like singing lessons and dancing lessons as kids, then it went, you know, then it kind of flourished from there. And then I went on to like drama schools and things like that. I went to Italian ones. Yeah, I went to Italia Conti in London. But it took me a while to get there because I went to a normal secondary school. And then I got in and then couldn't afford to go. Because obviously the cost of going to London, living in London, that was just absolutely ridiculous. But I was really fortunate. My dad used to be a builder, and he basically worked in Fishery Road in Bahrain, which is a real kind of celebrity road. And he became good friends with a lot of the artists like Michael Thomas, people like that, like, you know, the older generation artists, the raw talents. And then when I started to kind of get into singing and dancing and all of this, he took me along to a performance of a lady called Marion Montgomery, who was a jazz singer in the 60s, 70s. Phenomenal lady, like just talent. Like I was just, oh my goodness me, this lady was incredible. And her husband was Laurie Holloway, who was a massive MD in this country, you know. Huge artists, like Paige, Liza Minnelli, Julie Garland, and basically I just became really, really good friends with them. And from there, I kind of started training under them, and they taught me loads of stuff. And then basically, when I got into drama school, I couldn't afford to go, and they basically gave me the money to go to drama school. So that kind of launched me. But as a kid, I'd already done a lot of stuff. I'd already done West End. I don't basically visuals and stuff like that. So we already kind of had fun.
You're working all the time.
I was working all the time, but I was still in normal education. Yeah. And that was quite a battle, because when you go to a drama school, they understand doing performances alongside, you know, school. Whereas this wasn't the case. So I was doing school and the performances. So it was very intense as a teenager. But then when I became 17 and I went off to drama school, then I kind of almost retrained as an adult.
Right.
So that I could then work in the industry as an adult. But that all kind of came off the back of Marion and Laurie, and I'm really happy by that point. I was off. I really did, yeah. They were special people. Marion was very warm and kind, and you know, she'd been and done it, you know, she'd just been on the circuit and had to learn her craft. And I think that's something that I love from this era as well, was that, you know, there wasn't the auto-tune, there wasn't all that. You just had to do it.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things she taught me, you know, just get out there and do it, get the experience, you know. So let's sit in the classroom, you've got to do it.
I mean, it's great. It's so amazing that you got that kind of apprenticeship back.
It really was. That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
So obviously the band then, Lipstick on Your Collar, when did that start?
So from there, when I went to drama school, I came out, and obviously they trained me to do West End and tours and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what I went off and did. And then I kind of hit a point when I thought, do you know what? It's a weird lifestyle, because you do contracts, then contracts finish, and then you're in this window all the time of a bar job or a sales job or something. I've done loads of wheels jobs. I've been selling wheels. I've been like all sorts of rubbish I've done, because you have these gaps, you know, and you have to fill them. But it gets to a point where it becomes hard work, because it's like you have no normal life. You're either on tour or you're doing those type of jobs, waiting for your next job.
Yeah, family.
Literally. And my other half worked in IT.
Oh,
so he was normal. He had normal 9 to 5 hours, and I was away in the shop. And I just said, you know what, I don't really want to work for other people anymore. I want to do something for me. And he loves music, and he was also brought up on the 50s and 60s. So I said, hey, why don't we just set it up? We actually went to a beer festival one day and got very drunk, and that's where the idea came from. Because I saw all these bands, and I was like, I come from theatre, not from band land. Yeah. So I was like, oh, that looks like great fun. So I was like, right, let's just do it. So yeah, Saturday night passed, the hangover cleared, Monday morning.
Money well spent.
We started on this idea. And I always wanted to just be 56s because we both love that. So we set up as a band. We did a lot of like weddings and private events and stuff like that because you've got to know what works ultimately. You know, try the songs, what do audiences like, etc. So yeah, we did that for quite a while, and then I said to Adrian, I really want to take it back to theatre because that's where I'm based.
People have come specifically to watch you then.
It's a very different thing.
Yeah.
And it's also what I love, and I was really missing theatre by this point. So in 2016, we set it up as a theatre tour. I did a small preview tour, and I was like, okay, let's just see how it sells, because it's a big risk, you know, it's a huge risk. And we kind of invested in a lot of tech as well, so we did it as a big production show, so it wasn't just the band on stage. We toured lighting, set all sorts of things, and went, right, let's just do this, see what happens, and it's on now. Everywhere it went, it just sold out.
Brilliant.
And it was like, oh wow, okay.
Proper magic wand moment.
It really was. I mean, it was literally just, you know, September to November run, and it was just out the door. We never expected it. Never.
And you've not looked back since?
No. Yeah. Like literally started at 200 seaters, now got up to 1,500 seaters, and that was 10 years ago.
You shake my knives and you ran on my brain. Too much love drives a girl insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
When you're then doing these shows, how do you feel performing in front of an audience? What's that feeling?
I love the live audience. You know, you can't be that. You do session work or anything like that. It's not the same. You know, you want to connect with people. And I think for me, one of the biggest things is standing on stage and seeing other people enjoy themselves. You know, when you get a massive venue, I'll never forget we played Blackpool Grand for the first time, and it's really old school, Frank Matcham Theatre, huge, amazing ceiling, like proper old school, you know. And I stood on stage and it was totally sold out. And like you could just feel this wall of people. And I've done that before on other shows that, you know, where I haven't produced it, but it's totally different to no. You know, when you're standing up there and you've created this product, people are loving it, and you can see how happy they are. That is just wow.
Just that sense of ownership.
That's it. Yeah.
Stupid Cupid, you're a real mean guy. I'd like to clip you once so you can fly. I'm in love and it's a crying shame, and I know that you're the one to blame. Hey, set me free. Stupid Cupid, stop picking on me.
I've always loved music from before my time.
Yes.
And there's loads of other people like myself who are like that. So what is it about the 50s and 60s then that just made it so special for you then?
I think the music's very catchy. That's the first thing. It gets stuck in your head. It drives me insane. But also I think the artists, you know, like I was saying earlier, you have this pure talent because they didn't have the auto-tune, they didn't have all the technology that we now have.
Yeah.
They just had to get on stage and do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, it was edgy as well at the time, wasn't
Yeah,
it? It was very like, oh, what's this rock and roll? You know, and you can feel that. You can feel that energy coming from the music. And especially when you play it live, you know, we've got an amazing band.
Absolutely.
Like, they're alive on stage. Oh, it's just incredible. You know, it's like a buzz. And I don't really get that from modern music. Like, that's just me.
No,
I don't get that feeling of it, you know? And I think that's what really kind of hooked me. Listening to that music as a kid, I was like, wow, Mum, what is this?
Look at there, here she comes. Here comes that girl again. Wanting to date her since I don't know when. But she don't notice me when I pass. She goes with all the guys coming out of my class. But that can't stop me from thinking to myself, she's sure fine looking, man. Wow, she's something else.
So, obviously, you mentioned that you've got such an incredible band, and I can definitely say it's incredible having watched you last year. everyone is showcased so well in this. I mean, you even play the drums at some point
Yes.
as well, you know. So you're like a big family,
Yeah.
and you're touring the UK. So do you like touring, or can there be challenges?
I think touring's a lot of fun because you get to see a lot of different places. I say that, you see a lot of dressing rooms because you don't get that much time. You know, you're in and because we're a one night tour.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, you know, you get in at 2 and you're out at, well, we're not out till 12, so we're back down, but you don't get a window of time in the area. You might get an hour if you're lucky.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't actually see that much. But I do like being on the road and I like meeting different audiences because it varies massively. You know, down south you'll have one type of audience, up north and like, you know, it really does change and the reaction to the show changes. So I love that. I think travelling is hard. It's very tough on your body. Because you know you're not sleeping very much, you're not eating very well because you're always grabbing food. Everything's a rush, and so I think it is. I know a lot of people that tour for a period of time and go, I can't tour anymore. I just can't do it because it is hard. It is hard. The job itself is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
You know, it's you're in a little bubble, but I think the people that you tour with, that's a huge part of doing what we do. You know, if you have an amazing band and you all get on so well, then it's lovely.
Yeah.
You know, and you're standing up there and you're a team. This is the thing. Like, we never wanted to produce the show in a way where it was just about one person. We wanted it, like you said, to showcase everybody.
Yeah.
Because everybody is very talented within their own right.
Absolutely.
You know, and we're all just coming together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's lovely. But it is hard. Yeah.
And it's also, you know, when you're working together as a big team and a big family, you're able to kind of work together on you know, collaboration. Like, because you're more than just about, you give us such an experience. I mean, it's like, you know, a time machine experience where when you're moved from like the 50s and the 60s. Yeah, and there's loads of surprises on that stage. I won't give any away, but you know, you do have some surprises on the stage along the way.
The night we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go.
Obviously, now this might be a silly question,
Go on.
But-
Brings it.
because the band is called Lipstick on Your Collar. Is there a favourite song that you particularly loved?
It's
I
not that one. It's
know
not.
my favourite one. It's not that one. I know my favourite one. It's not
Go on,
that
tell
one.
me.
Well, what's yours? Yeah.
I think for me it has to be the medley that we do of I Do Have Nothing, Shirley Bassey, and You're My Right.
That was my, Cilla Black. We love you, Cilla. Yeah,
We do.
because honest to God, sensational when you perform that.
Thank you.
I'm really,
very
really
much.
looking forward to
Thank
seeing that
you.
one tonight. So, obviously, with that in mind, incredible band, incredible show, great experience for everybody to come and watch, regardless of what generation you're from. How do people get tickets or book you or look out for gigs?
So basically, all the tickets go through the venues.
Mhm.
So box offices for each venue, give them a call, go online to their websites. But we also advertise all of our dates. We put a tour poster up at the start of every year, and each tour, so spring, autumn, winter tours, on our Facebook page. So you can go on there and find out what venues we are coming to. But also on ENTS, we have a page on ENTS 24. If you didn't know.
Yeah.
There's loads of stuff on there. And also our website, lipstickonyourcollar.co.uk.
Fantastic. Well, I cannot wait to watch you guys tonight, and I hope you have fun on the
Thank you.
stage, and it's been an absolute pleasure chatting.
Lovely to meet you. Take care. Thank you.